Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. So today I wanted to go ahead and cover the 2.6 balance changes slash manifesto slash whatever other edgy name you'd like to insert here that is not patch notes. Um, so I am like a day late on this. I was supposed to do it earlier in the day, but some things came up unfortunately. But there's a lot of really cool topics inside here. I did like a quick glance. We've got like changes to elemental conversion. Over 100 unique items have been balanced. The one-handed changes. They talked about the implicits, area of effect changes, skill balance adjustments. This is my favorite one.
Our illustrious
Vaal
champion
discipline
returns.
changes. We got new
Welcome
subscribers
home.
rolling in, like Spore for a 13-month resub. Thank you, Spore. Much appreciated, bro. Alright, let's go ahead and get right on into it. 2.6 includes a long list of changes to game balance. Our primary intent is to better enable a larger selection of powerful build types and skill choices. Many of the more extreme changes to core systems have been held until the fall of Oriath's beta, while 2.6 will have a stronger focus on improving underused passives, weapon types, unique items, and skills with a focus on their threshold jewels. Personally, I really like this. I think this is like one of the best things for me because rather than just adding additional content, which is what the expansion is going to do, 2.6 is meant to kind of revive older content and unused things, which I think is a perfect direction to take. Try to polish your game before your expansion lands. I think that's a very good way to do it. Alright. Okay, these changes will combine... these will all combine to create a large section of new builds to try out. Alright. Improvements to the passive tree. Various improvements to specific clusters on the locations of the passive tree have been made, making build areas which weren't taken frequently more efficient, and opening up new options for builds. Some physical to cold conversion has been added to the passive tree near the ranger area. So let's actually like pull this up live as we're doing it. So the ranger area would be... Oh, don't crash. Don't crash! Nobody saw that. Music's a bit loud. I got you, buddy. I got you. Here you go. I have this shit at like 10% volume. I'll drop it to 5%. Let me know how that is. Okay. So, the ranger area would be located for the newer players. In this section kind of right here, this would all kind of be the ranger area. So, it says here... some physical to cold conversion will be added to the passive tree ranger area. This allows for skills like Ice Shot and Frostbite to have more conversion to cold than ever before, which doesn't make sense because you could already get 100% conversion. I didn't know you could get past 100%, so maybe either GG is lying to us or they're just trying to be really fancy. A new weapon elemental damage cluster has been added to the passive tree near the ranger. This allows for dexterity-aligned characters who specialize in elemental attacks to invest more of their points into damage. I remember Etup said that this was trash. I think that, Etup is a liar because there's actually a node on the tree right here. I know you guys can't see this. I'm going to read it out loud because my OBS gets fucked if I enable it. This is 10% increase WED. This is 10% increase, well, it's just increase elemental damage with weapons. This is 20% increase elemental damage with weapons with 6% penetration. The penetration is pretty huge. So we also get another big chunk here. You cannot get 100% physical to cold. I mean, you can't get physical to cold, but you can get 100% elemental conversion. You can use, like, for example, you can get 75% to cold. You can use Shrim Sorrow. You can technically get over 100% cold if you use Hatred. It's not all converted, but you get over 100%. So technically, GG's still wrong. Let's see. The area between the Shadow and Ranger has been made more efficient and less restrictive, while also improving the efficiency of clusters in that section of the tree. I'm assuming that they're referring to right here. I think this section here is kind of awkward, right? This is kind of weird. So I think this is a big spot that they want to change here. I don't really think anybody really uses anything here. I mean, maybe. I'm not really too sure. Let's see. Oh, the thick skin cluster now attaches on the outside perimeter. So what they mean for this is that you can connect through thick skin. They even had a screenshot posting, I believe, like here or something. Mana has been added behind Mind Over Matter, allowing those builds to be better than ever before. You can't convert all of your Ice Shot or Glacial Hammer to cold. I mean, you might not be able to, but you could just use Fizz to Lightning and then use Hatred. and it's still nuts. Okay, so the Mind Over Matter cluster would be right here, and you could get the mononodes basically right here. Kind of similar to how Blood Magic has it. Blood Magic has 10% max life, 10% max life, 15% max life, and then 50% less mana reserved. Some Claw, Staff, and Sword passives have received some special attention and should now be more powerful. The Vitality Void and Spirit Void clusters near the Duelist starting area that grant life and Mana Leech to attack damage has been rearranged and is now also attached to the outside perimeter path. Okay, so that would be right here. Vitality Void is this one, and Spirit Void is this one right here. Let's see what else we have. The Sword Critical Cluster has been made part of the Ranger's large exterior Sword Cluster. The outer path of the Sword Cluster has been significantly reworked to grant more power. So that would mean this Sword Crit Cluster down here, I believe it's this one, would go up and above. What else do we have here? Master Fletcher Bow Cluster has between the Ranger and the Duelist has been removed, and the Avatar of Hunt Cluster has been moved closer to its old location. Leech effects in the shadow area of the tree now leech from all attack damage. This is crazy. This is awesome right here. So that would mean right here. Is it Blood Drinker? It was, right? Yeah, the leech effects in the shadow area of the tree now leech from all damage. So Blood Drinker now actually works for spells, which is really, really cool. That's actually really sick. The Lightning Cluster's Arcing Blows and Crackling Speed have been combined. That's overpowered as fuck. That means that this entire cluster and this entire cluster both go together, which is actually really sick in my opinion, because I think these are already really strong nodes in themselves. Well, this one not too much. This is 10%, 10%, 10%. This is 16% lightning damage, 4 cast speed, 15 crit multi. Attacks, not spells? What do you mean? It says specifically that... Oh, that's right. It says attack. Let me look at it again. From all attack damage. Okay, so to clarify, spell damage doesn't work. However, you can play elemental builds and still pick it up. So it's still okay. So Elemental Leech doesn't have to fucking go all the way down here. So it's alright. It's still not bad. Okay. Master of Force, the physical cluster in the Scion area, and Ash, Frost, and Storm, the elemental cluster in Scion now grants small value of reduced reflect elemental damage or reflect damage taken to their type. That's pretty neat. So it's not just limited to what is it? Slayer and Elementalist. Many other changes have been made to pathing, positioning, and values. Cool. Elemental conversion. Some unique items that converted elemental damage to the other elemental damage types have had their conversion values lowered to increase the opportunity cost of the total element to element conversion. Converting spells to other damage types was so easy with Pyre and Call the Brotherhood that it compromised elemental identity for many skills. Man, the words they're using here. So this is actually a pretty interesting change because I totally do agree with this. Oftentimes it was just kind of gimmicky that you could just like use a Pyre and just literally convert for absolutely no penalty. So I'm happy to see something kind of being done about this. I know they said specifically in here, right here, we've made it slightly easier to convert more physical damage to elemental damage for some attack skills. Frostblade's Ice Shot now have 60% physical conversion up from 40%. Wild Strike now converts 100% physical to a random element. So I'm pretty curious to see how this works, because conversions usually dealt with either 25 or 50. So I'm pretty curious to see what they're adding to the tree exactly to make that work. You can't see the nodes in the tree? Yeah, man, I stated that at the beginning of the video. That's why I'm reading the nodes out loud. Over 100 unique item rebalances with a focus on improving underused uniques that didn't have a strong role in the game. We've tried to make sure that all uniques either have a positive impact on leveling characters, or act as a good item to wield when first entering maps, or have a defined role for endgame characters. We've got more changes coming in the future, but we've managed to make changes to a significant number of older uniques. Vaal Spark. I honestly don't know. I've never played Vaal Spark before. Looks like a pretty cancer build to me. One-handed weapons were seeing very little use outside of the daggers and specific one-hand skills. To improve player choice, we've increased the base damage of many one-handed weapon types across the board. Alright. Daggers, let's see, daggers now have a lower implicit value. This will also apply to already existing dagger implicits. Previous daggers granted 40, 60, 80 increased critical strike chance. These values have been changed to 30, 40, 50. This is to reduce the impact specific base types had on weapon choices. Okay. Lower level claw bases that granted life leech now grant life on hit. That's good because you can't really leech anything at the beginning because it's percentage based. America's claw bases, double claw, twin claw, Gemini claw have separate life and mana hit values. America thrusting swords have a higher chance to bleed. One-handed maces now grant stun thresholds rather than stun duration. Okay. All staves have had their block values increased. This is one of my favorites here. 12% block changed to 18, and the 18s, I think, changed to 20. Almost half of the one-handed and two-handed sword base types now... Oh, and two-handed? Okay, swords. Grant flat accuracy instead of increased accuracy. This should make them more desirable for characters that don't naturally have high accuracy rating from dexterity. Area of effect changes. I always get scared when I see this. All of the increased radius of area skills have been replaced with an increase to area. This means that rather than the area of the skill increasing, is it geometrically, as the player invests into the modifier to area scale, the radius gain per point of the stat will be lower and lower as heavy investment occurs, similar to diminishing returns. So the more you add, the less you get. Right now it's like the complete opposite. Many old radiuses that increase have been changed to area increases provide a higher numerical value to compensate for this change. The goal of this change is to make investing in the size of your area skills to be less rewarding the more you invest, so players don't feel like they need to gather every single point of area. They actually literally did this exact same thing. They just didn't change the values. Instead, they buffed base skills and lowered the ones on the tree. As an example of how this change will work, the map mod that grants increased radius of boss skills previously granted 40%. This actually wasn't boss skills, this was everything, so I think they actually got that wrong. But will now grant 100% increased area. I wonder how overall this actually affects skills though. As many lower level skills don't have high base area, they will now receive an additional flat bonus radius to certain levels of the gem. As an example of this is Blight, which gains 1 area radius every 5 levels of the gem. So my Blight would be +5. I wonder how good that would be though. Like I wonder if that still equates to being less AoE than I have now or more. All values of curse radius and aura radius were doubled when converted to curse or aura size, or aura area size, to result in a similar change. As another notable change, melee splash now gains significantly more increased area than it did increased radius as the gem levels, bringing it much closer to equivalent area skills. So that means Kitava's is even more OP because it grants even more AoE for the weapon. Skill balance adjustments. A small number of skills have had their damage values adjusted. Damage increases have been applied to 2 skills that were satisfied with the mechanics of but felt they didn't deal enough damage. Sunder now deals more damage with its direct hit but less damage with its secondary area effect. I think the reason why they did that as well is because the new Exiles that are coming out could have some insane AoE overlap. Think of the area of a circle compared to a radius. That doesn't help me at all, unfortunately. A damage reduction has been applied to one skill that dealt significantly more damage than other skills of its type, especially after one-handed weapon changes. Blade Flurry has had its damage reduced. Good. 2 Vaal auras have been reduced in power. Vaal Haste now grants slightly lower values of attack, cast, and movement speed. That's totally cool. Vaal Discipline no longer grants any bonus energy shield. So, this Vaal Discipline nerf, I kind of saw coming, but I didn't think they were just going to slap it like super, like just right in your face like that. This is a huge nerf to like pretty much every CI build, however, or ES build. This doesn't really affect super tanky builds that much. It just means like you just have to kind of pay more attention. So Vaal Discipline, when you would scale layers of defense, was literally so broken to the point that if you kept Vaal Discipline on, your character could not die. Like, it literally, it couldn't die. Unless you were trying to do something really stupid. But even then, I played my Blight to level 100 and tried to die, and it just didn't work. So I actually 100% do agree with this nerf. I think they may need to adjust some things, maybe, potentially. But I do like this. There will be many more changes to skills coming in 3.0 as part of the Fall of Oriath beta. Changes to existing threshold jewels. The majority of the threshold jewels, the opportunity cost of having to take otherwise inefficient passive skills made the jewels too costly for their effect. All threshold jewels now require 40 of their chosen attribute to be available in the area and no longer require it to be allocated. Many have a maximum number of jewels, so you can only have so many inside, like, 2 or 1. Letting us be more generous with powerful effects that would be problematic if you could fill a large portion of your tree. I remember when Threshold Jewels first came out, I forgot which one it was. I think it was Rain of Splinters. Ziggy was just putting like 15 Rain of Splinters on his tree, and just every skill had like 30 projectiles, which was pretty cool. Let's see. Some existing Threshold Jewels have had their values adjusted. Some now have additional effects. We plan to make further changes to Threshold Jewels as part of the beta. Here are some examples. Heavy Strike's Threshold Jewel now grants 20% chance for double damage, is limited to 2. That still seems kind of shit in my opinion. I mean, I guess it's okay, but Viper Strike's Threshold Jewel now grants a 10% chance to gain Unholy Might on hit per poison stack on the enemy. I think that's actually pretty good. Vigilant Strike's Threshold Jewel now grants allies Fortify for 20 seconds, up from 3. I think that this right here, this is insane for Guardian supports, or any support. Just walking up and just fucking Vigilant striking something in the face and giving your whole entire party Fortify for 20 seconds, and all you have to do is just use Enduring Cry and punch something in the face with Vigilant Strike again. I think this is awesome. That's cool. I personally am a huge fan of having longer buffs, because I think that when you have really, really, really small increment buffs, it just boosts the clear speed meta, and everyone is just go, 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 and you just take your keyboard and you're just like, go, go. And I think that that's kind of silly, right? Because that's kind of how like the current meta is with CI, is you basically, you look at your keyboard, you say, where's Flask 1 to 5? You go on Flask 1 to 5, and you just go, that's it. And every 5 seconds, you just go, and then at 5 more seconds, and you go, and 5 more seconds, and you go, and then your map is clear, but guess what? You still go, and you get a Zana map, and you go. So, personally, if you can lower that to once every 20 seconds, I think the game will be a lot better, personally. Anyway, though, we'll reveal the full patch notes and skill tree for Content 2.6 a few days before it launches on March 3rd, so do expect another video from me at that point in time. However, anyway, I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. If you did, please feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to share it and subscribe. Remember, you can catch me streaming live at twitch.tv/Pohx daily. And for those of you guys who are going to meme and troll about me, I literally did this to level 100. So I'm not fucking lying. Hope you guys have a wonderful time. I'll see you boys all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.